Tonight I rewatched an American classic, To Kill a Mockingbird. I was in the mood for an old classic movie, and you know what? I'm really glad I watched it. Good lord, it is amazing. It's quite faithful to the book. Some subplots are cut out. There is a scene, there's a school scene that's cut out, and it affects the continuity a little bit, but you could still get the whole details of it, even if you didn't read the book. Now, I read the book in 8th grade and saw the movie, so it's been a long time. Don't feel like doing the actual numbers right now since I've seen it, but I'm really glad I revisited it now, especially because it's still very relevant in the modern era. So it's essentially about a child's perspective watching her lawyer father defend a black man in a trial. He was accused of a crime that he clearly didn't commit, and it's about this process and systemic racism through the eyes of a child in the Deep South in the 1930s. Wonderful book. So every single performance in this is incredible, especially from the kid actors. Oh, good lord, there's a particularly great scene where the lawyer father is sitting outside the prison and a lynch mob comes up to him, and the kids follow the father and see where he is, but they run up to him in front of this lynch mob and he tells them to go home. Then the daughter, who's the main character, Scout, just looks at one of the guys and says, "Oh, hey, Mr. Cunningham, how you doing? I go to school with your son, Walter." She's gotten in a fight with him earlier, and she says to the father, "Tell him I meant no harm. Tell him I said hey." And she's able to get to the guy, this lynch mob's human side, so they back off and don't go through with their plans, which was especially effective scene, especially amazing. For starters, it's a whole monologue that the actress Mary Bedham gives, and wow, she nails it. She really nails it. It's really fascinating to see. You really get, with every performance, with the writing, with the pacing, you get a feel of that time period. Of course, we'll never have lived that, but you can get a really good sense as to what that was like. Oh, not to mention, especially the man playing the accused, Brock Peters playing Tom Robinson. Wow. Oh my god, wow. That a lot of the acting comes through his face. You get a lot of side characters who just act through their face, and him especially. This is a man who knows he's innocent, but knows he's most going to die. And you see that in every single pore on his face. You see that. It comes through. He's genuinely very emotional. He's tearing up. There's such a powerlessness that's conveyed just through his face, and such a weight to every word he speaks. And going on to the movie as a whole, a lot of people criticize movies and television as being lesser forms of entertainment, and while hailing a good book as truly something of value with knowledge. And I would say that watching a really good movie or a really good television show is just as good, just the same thing as reading a very good book. It's just a different tool of getting your information. It's a very different style. But To Kill a Mockingbird is truly faithful to the book. And it's the mediums can transfer over very, very well. So I don't really see too much people denouncing movies and television in favor of books. Not too much. But I do think it is very similar, because you can still very much get a slice of life. You can get a taste of a situation. You can really see the point of view you can see someone else's point of view. You can get big ideas, and you can get experiences that you probably would not have lived through It's just a matter of using different tools to do that. And that's really cool. I definitely think we shouldn't, it's just, the ideas are similar, it's just the tools. And I do think whether you're reading the original book, I do recommend both, especially with adaptations, just to see the differences. But I do strongly recommend To Kill a Mockingbird. I know sometimes it seems like, oh, the classics feel like homework, but there's a lot of value to it. And they're classics for a reason, due to the quality of the storytelling. In fact, you could argue it's even harder to make a really good movie or TV show because so many more people have to come together to really capture something. More the actors, the editors, the performances, whereas if you're writing a really good book, yeah, it's really just a couple people, namely the writer or writers and the publishers, distributors. So, if you're in the mood for a classic, I highly recommend To Kill a Mockingbird.